Hi everybody, great to see you. Hope you're having a lovely weekend. We have here our weekend Cryptic Crossword Puzzle where we've taken the 5 daily clues from the past week, Monday to Friday, which got increasingly harder, and we've got 5 more clues to be solving today. So we'll start off with quickly going over those 5 clues throughout the week, and then we'll spend a bit longer on the new clues. And if we start off with our Monday clue, we had for 6 down. We're told keeper's first half is crucial for 3 letters here. Now, we're told was our homophone indicator, and we're told the keeper's first half. So the first half of keeper is key, and we're hearing that. Is there another way of spelling key, which means crucial? Because that's what we're aiming at here. Yes, K-E-Y. We then had for our Tuesday clue, if I remember which one it was, Santa's Carrier starts service agreement cancellation. Killjoys for 4. Starts was our acrostic indicator. And so then all the succeeding words, and you'll see there's 4 words for 4 letters. S-A-C-K for sack, so Santa's Carrier, not the mobile phone service, but instead what Santa uses to carry the presents. Very important. Now, for Wednesday, we had Base Cook fired up novel support for 8 down. This was our cheeky definition, I think, probably the cheekiest of the week. Base Cook fired up, so fired up being our anagram indicator. We're firing up these 8 letters here from Base Cook, so these were letters all together, which gave us bookcase. And so by novel support, we do literally mean the actual support structure that holds your novels or your books. For Thursday, we had for 4 down, stocking fabric, only reordered with cotton, ultimately for 5 letters. We started at the end because ultimately tells us to take the last letter of a word. Cotton ultimately, in this case, was the letter N. And then with only reordered, only is the last 4 letters that we need, reordered, an anagram indicator. And if we reorder all of those, and that's with the N, we get nylon. And so with stocking fabric, we're not, like the verb stocking fabric, like if we're ordering something, instead it's literally the fabric of stockings that they're made out of, which is nylon. And to round off the week, we had some business speak. We had angle with hard tissue for skeletal diagram for 8. And this was our charades cryptic clue, where skeletal diagram is the definition for skeletal diagram. And the 2 components of this, we had angle, which is with hard tissue. The substitutions, this was the harder bit. To angle is to fish. That's one aspect, and that's with hard tissue, which is bone. And a fish bone is a skeletal diagram to do your root cause analysis. And so those were the 5 clues that we had of the week. So let's now turn to the 5 additional clues of this puzzle. And it looks like we're starting with 5 across for 6 letters, badly unwell. Now, in this case, where you've got just 2 words in the clue, that almost certainly is going to be a double definition clue. That is to say, you've got 2 words, there will be a connector word that can be defined in both of those ways. And that's what we're looking for here, is the answer. And in this case, badly, if one performs badly, you perform poorly. And if you are unwell, that means you're also poorly. And so taken together, that is the answer that we were looking for there. Now, you could probably say badly unwell, it also means to be poorly, but we mean it in a double definition sense here to be strict about it. We then have 7 across, Superman villain, 1 convict for our vocabulary. For 7. Now, this did require a bit of Superman or DC knowledge, and in this case, who is one of the main villains against Superman? And you've got the E here to help if we've got key, while the main Superman villain is Lex Luthor. And so we're starting with Lex here, and we've then got some interesting pieces. 1 convict for our vocabulary. So if we've got Superman villain, 1 convict for our vocabulary is going to be the definition then. And so then we've got Lex. 1, if you see the 1, that's almost always abbreviated to the letter I, as in the Roman numeral I. And then convicts, typically abbreviated to just con. So lexicon being our answer there for our vocabulary. For 9 across, now this was one of the harder clues that we put in. PM's approach aligned without New Democrat awkwardly for 5. Now, this might make more sense in a Canadian context because the New Democrats, the New Democratic Party, one of the larger parties here, if you're not a Liberal or a Conservative. And in literally what we have at the moment in Canada is, of course, the PM, the Prime Minister, Mark Carney, doesn't quite have a majority, might need to get a New Democrat on board to push forward legislation, and the PM's approach is aligned without it, so it's a bit awkward. Now, that's a whole story, but is PM, by PM, do I mean Prime Minister? Is that the right abbreviation? The PM's approach. Now, how are we going to work through this? Well, awkwardly is an anagram indicator, and so we're going to be anagramming something. In particular here, we're anagramming the word aligned, which is going to be without the letter N from new. That's an abbreviation from new to the letter N. And Democrat, we abbreviate to the letter D as well. And so here, Democrat would just mean in the American context, in fact. And so if you have aligned without N and D, you've got your 5 letters, and then we're anagramming them, you get agile. And so by PM, I don't mean the Prime Minister, I mean the project manager's approach. And so one of the main approaches a project manager might take is an agile approach versus, say, a waterfall or something like that. So then 1 down, we have enemy obscured by info embargoes for 3. We've got a nice hidden cryptic clue here. Another word for enemy is being obscured by, hidden by these 2 words, info embargoes. And we've got fishbone. So we know that the first letter we're looking for is F, which we have in info. And then if we just follow it along for O and then the E in embargoes, you have foe, which is our enemy. The last clue, weaken side-splitting spasm, keeling over for 3. Now, we can probably guess what the answer is just from looking at the S and the P here, but how do we work out and pass the clue itself? That's almost part of the fun, is just working backwards almost. How does it all fit together? In this case, we've got side-splitting spasm. And so we're literally splitting off the sides of this word spasm for PAS. And look, we've got the SP, but then it's reversed. And keeling over is our reversal indicator. But importantly, it's a reversal indicator for a down clue. So if you're keeling over, you're going the other way. And in cryptics, there are going to be certain reversal indicators that can be used for across, for down, and then there are those universal reversal indicators as well. In this case, we've got a very specific one, and so SAP is the answer, which means to weaken, and there we've solved the puzzle. Now, if you enjoyed this week's weekend puzzle, please do like and subscribe and comment. Always appreciate the engagement from everybody. And if you're new to the channel, Monday to Friday, we have daily cryptic crossword clues for beginners. They get harder as the week goes on, culminating in our weekend crosswords. I hope you have a great week that's coming, and I'll see you all next time.